What's good, everybody? This is Ryan Johnson with MoneyBass.com. Oh, yeah. Let's go ahead and get things rolling tonight, guys. What is going on? Back once again, another Tuesday, 8 p.m. Eastern. You know, we get together each week. Just some like-minded guys and gals in here. Want to get together, kind of talk about some fishing, some hot topics, just find out what's going on with everybody out here. All right, so as you come into the chat, please drop a 1. Just want to make sure you guys can hear me okay and see me okay before we get into it. And also, just bear with me. I need to check in on the Facebook crew over here, guys. Let's see. Let's just check in with my people over here on the Facebook side of things. Just bear with me. This is a live show. So as we get rolling, sometimes it may take me a minute to kind of get everything set up, guys, and then we are going to get right into the meat of the program tonight. All right, here we go. All right, there we go. Got that updated. All right, there we go. Shout out to the Facebook crew. You guys are up and running. All right, man, I know you guys have seen the title of tonight's live stream and you've seen that thumbnail. What is going on out here? What is going on? Things are getting a little crazy. So let's go through the format of, how we run things over here. So this is a very interactive live stream. I see you guys over here getting active in the chat. Really appreciate everyone for dropping their comments and, kind of stopping through to see what is going on over here on the MoneyBass channel. So as always, make sure you get active in the chat. You never know when you are going to see somebody in there that is from your neck of the woods. May find your next fishing partner in there. So always get active in the chat. The live streams build off of the interaction of the chat. The other thing, I will be dropping some polls throughout the live stream. And actually, let's go ahead and drop one right now. And basically, the polls that I do throughout the live stream is pretty much just to gauge the room, guys. So the first poll that I'm going to put in here based on tonight's topic is, do you fish more as a boater or a co-angler? And again, this is to gauge the room to see, who's in here this evening and what kind of responses that we should be receiving throughout the show. So what I'm going to do is play a video that I just released maybe like 2 days ago. And it seems like everybody is losing their mind. I'm like, what has just happened? I was not expecting the response that I got from that video. And the clip that I'm going to play for you guys is just maybe like a 8 to 10 minute snippet from an interview that I recently did with Randy Blaukat. Oh yeah, shout out to Randy Blaukat. It was a very good conversation. There was a lot of interesting things said, guys, and I know it caught a lot of attention of the people that were watching. And I actually had to split that up into 2 different videos. It may have got a little too hot for YouTube, so I kind of put the second part in the members only section. But the link to the video that I'm referring to is in the description of the video. So make sure you guys each week you always check the description. Let me just check into the comments real quick. Okay. All right. Just wanted to make sure everything was rolling. Okay. All right. So the poll is live and in action. So what I'll do, guys, is let me see. Yeah, we're going to get right into it this evening. I am going to play this clip. And what I want you guys to do is get your pad and pen. We need to take some notes on this one. So what we're going to be looking for as we watch this clip is to see what statements that you agree and what statements you disagree with. Yeah, we're gonna do this one a little different because it was pretty interesting in the comments. Goodness gracious, guys, did you read the comments? Again, if anybody does not know the video that I'm referring to, all right, I'm getting ahead of myself. I see some of the responses that are coming through in the chat, but goodness, and I lost my train of thought. But basically what I'm going to do is play this video clip. I want you guys to grab your pen, piece of paper, jot down some notes and just let me know what is it about this clip that you think struck a nerve with a lot of people and had the comments that were coming in. And that's what I was saying, guys. The link is in the description for anybody that did not see it earlier, or you may be watching it on the replay. And there is actually a 2-hour interview that I completed with him. Goodness, was it just last week? Time is flying, guys. All right, so let's see. Saber Outdoors, shout out to Saber Outdoors. Really appreciate you checking back into the live stream. Says the poll answer is about 50-50. Don't you just love it? Isn't that the way it's supposed to be? We want to get kind of a balanced reaction in here. I want to see what people have to say from the boater side and the co-angler side of things. So I always try to, try to bring a little bit of balance to these conversations. So that is definitely a good thing. Uh-oh. I'm looking on here and it's changing a little bit. All right, so the poll for anybody that is just checking in, I mean, we're just getting started, guys. And it kind of takes a minute for people to kind of trickle into the live stream. And what I do want to say is for anybody catching this on the replay, it is always better when you are here for the live show itself, because I am very interactive with the people in the chat. And I will drop the link shortly, guys. Pretty much after we take a look at the video clip, I will drop the link early in the chat because there was a lot of responses that came through. And if you want to come up on the screen, voice your opinion, your suggestions, your thoughts on the topic, then, I'll bring you up, set the timer, let you talk for maybe like 1 or 2 minutes. Then I'll drop you down and bring up the next guest. So like I said, we try to, share some different thoughts and ideas on different things like that. Sometimes we, kind of may start over here or over here, and we try to see if we can see things from somebody else's perspective. Sometimes, could change your mind. Or not. I mean, a lot of times that does happen. All right. So the poll that we have in the chat for anybody that is just checking in, make sure you check the live chat. The poll is: do you fish more as a boater or a co-angler? Oh man. Oh my goodness. What happened? We were sitting at 50-50 just a few minutes ago. All right. So right now, I need you co-anglers to get active. This was really supposed to be the live stream for the co-anglers. We're going to get in here and talk about a lot of good things and some solutions to some problems that a lot of co-anglers face out there on the water. So, that is kind of what this, is geared towards. And just go over, like I said, some things that kind of touch some nerves with you co-anglers with the video that I just recently released. And I was kind of surprised at it. All right. So do you fish more as a boater or a co-angler? The co-anglers currently in the chat right now, we're sitting at 30%. But the votes are still coming in. Everybody that is just tuning in, make sure you check the live chat and participate in the poll. We are 30% co-anglers and 70% boaters. What's going on with that? Where are the co-anglers at? All right, so let's go ahead and I'm going to share my screen. Again, this is a live show. So what I will do, guys, is I will bring up this video clip. Let me just go ahead and get that queued up for you real quick. Again, bear with me. Like I mentioned, this is a live show. All right, there we go. All right, so we're going to take a look at the video that I just recently released. I want to make sure you guys get a pen and a notepad or something, because what I want you to do is, as you listen to this video clip, I want to know, what are you hearing in here that you agree with and the things that you disagree with, and then we're going to talk about it. I will drop the link and pull you up on the screen. Make sure that you have your video, that you're cammed up, and that your lighting is decent. And we'll do a quick audio check, and then we'll get straight into it. All right. So let's go ahead and play this video. Let me just change things up just a little bit. All right. Are you guys ready? Wait a minute. I know how I can tell if you're ready or not. I'm going to check my likes. Let me check my likes.
Yes, sir.
And see how my likes are looking. Hey guys, what is going on? How can I have this amount of people in here and I have 1 like? Is that how you're really gonna do me? Is this how I'm? Why are you treating me so bad? Can I get it? I mean, we're sitting on 1 like, guys. Hold on. This can't. Maybe YouTube is broke. Maybe YouTube is broke. Could that be the issue? Let me just double check. Okay, there we go. Yeah, YouTube was broke for just a quick second. But can I get maybe about 6 or 7 more likes, guys? We're going to get into this one and have a lot of fun with this one. Hopefully it'll be informative, be a little bit of entertainment, and you guys will learn something. Hopefully you'll learn something by the end of this live stream too.
Yes, sir.
All right, there we go. Big shout out to Sam Axe. I like that name right there. Sam Axe is out there chopping that like button. He says, I was number 12 when I smashed the like button. All right, really, really appreciate that. All right, so here we go, guys. Let's go ahead and take a look at the video that is causing so many problems out here in these YouTube streets. Here we go.
Competitive angling should not have any co-angler.
Oh, wait a minute. I think that would be a little too fast for you guys. Let's slow it down just a little bit. All right, let's start it back over. All right, here we go, guys. Let's take a listen.
Competitive angling should not have any co-anglers in it, because co-anglers, whether it be good or bad, they affect the outcome of the tournament. I've had a bunch of them affect the outcome of my day.
Why would you say that?
This isn't a guide trip. I don't have any responsibility to make sure that the co-angler catches fish.
And you promised me a load of fish. You'll get a load of fish.
Eventually, I put a stop to it because I just screwed him with boat positioning.
Screw you! Hey, screw you!
I've got to worry about this goober in the back of the boat.
I'm the clueless goober.
Do you care if I throw like up here with you?
They unfairly affect the outcome of the tournament.
Is that true?
I don't think they have any business in competitive fishing.
Oh, it's kind of harsh.
Yeah, I think it should be a thing of the past.
I can't believe what I'm hearing. I can't believe what I'm hearing. I can't believe what I'm hearing.
No, I don't think they should exist at all. I think it should just be marshals.
You knew what they were, and you knew what their problem was.
Let's talk about co-anglers just a quick second.
Yeah.
All right, so one of the things that we had had a discussion about a few weeks ago was co-anglers. And I don't know if you've been paying attention to some of the videos that's been coming out and the comments, but it seems to be a battle between co-anglers and boaters right now. And so one of the things that we talked about was eliminating co-anglers. Do you think that may end up happening whenever there's so much tension between the boaters and the co-anglers? What do you think about that?
Well, first of all, in a perfect world, competitive angling should not have any co-anglers in it, because co-anglers, whether it be good or bad, they affect the outcome of the tournament. I've had a bunch of them affect the outcome of my day, and it has for everybody. I mean, you may have a co-angler out there that catches a bass on a certain color crankbait that you never would have tried, and then the pro tries it and wins the tournament. I mean, they unfairly affect the outcome of the tournament. I don't think they have any business in competitive fishing, but the problem you have with that is, long as the tournament organizations can make some type of money off co-anglers, they're still going to have them in there. If they could figure out a way to where the co-anglers didn't benefit the organizations financially, and that they could have some type of safeguard so there was no cheating going on, that the co-anglers help prevent, then yeah, I think it should be a thing of the past. I think observers are fine. You know, if somebody wants to go out there and watch a pro, they can absorb so much good information. But I just don't. I think co-anglers, that they alter outcomes of tournaments, you know, more than not.
Wow. So that was one of the questions that I was going to ask you, but you just jumped straight to it. Let's say that it's me competing as a boater, and then I would say whoever the other person is competing against the boater, and we've paid a $500 entry fee. And I just so happen to get paired in a BFL, for example, with a guide on that lake. He just didn't feel like fishing as a boater that day. He decided to fish as a co-angler, because they do allow guides to fish in the BFLs. So now my co-angler is a guide on a lake that I haven't fished before. Maybe I went there and I practiced for 2 days. And this other person's co-angler is a guy from Maine who decided to he's visiting family. And he's like, hey, yeah, I signed up. I just want to go out here and fish. So now we have both paid our $500. My guide that's on my boat says, hey, man, we can go get a quick, easy limit. Do you want 3-pounders or 4-pounders? Let's head over here to these trees. This is where I've been taking my clients. So now I'm getting that information and getting assistance from my co-angler. So is it really a competition to see who is the better tournament angler in that tournament, if I'm getting this assistance from a co-angler versus this other person who may have a co-angler that may be getting snagged or these different things? It's kind of a hindrance to their performance. So that was kind of the discussion that we were having. So like I said, you just jumped straight to to that part.
Well, you know, that's the thing about it. It's like, if somebody wants to go out with a pro in like some type of a angling situation, just let them go as a marshal. Because if I had a marshal, which we had, you know, quite a bit, like in the Bassmaster Classics and stuff, I will give them a dang seminar during the day. They'll come out of that day knowing more about fishing than they ever have. But if I get some guy, a co-angler in there, I'm not going to do that, because I'm there to catch every fish that I possibly can. And this isn't a guide trip. I don't have any responsibility to make sure that the co-angler catches fish. We aren't on a guide trip. This is a competitive fishing tournament out there. So I don't want, not only do I not want co-anglers or any pro, not just me, we don't want them catching fish behind us, but we don't want them, and even more importantly, to throw our pace off. Now, that's what co-anglers do, in my opinion, that hurt pros more than anything else. I'll give you a prime example. I was fishing one of the Forest Wood Cups, you know, whenever one of the last four Forest Wood Cups I fished. And I drew this co-angler out the first day of the tournament. I had a good pattern going. I was flipping shallow laydowns, and I had to be real stealthy and precise on this. And I drew this co-angler that had a reputation of being a nightmare to fish with. And true to form, he lived up to that. He was a nightmare. And what he would do, and I have a lot of them doing this, I'd pitch my jig in next to a laydown, and then all of a sudden I'd see his line and his bait would land 2 or 3 feet away from mine on the same laydown every time. And eventually I put a stop to it because I just screwed him with boat positioning. But what that did is that threw my pace off, and that affected me mentally to where all day long, instead of going out there and focusing on winning this tournament that I worked hard to qualify for all year long, I've got to worry about this goober in the back of the boat that's going to be casting on top of me everything. And I can't focus on anything but him. It's like my entire thought process is on this dude in the back of the boat, trying to keep him away from the cover that I'm fishing. That's the real negative impact that co-anglers have on a pro, in my opinion, is they distract you mentally and throw your pace off.
So do you feel that there is a certain level where they should and shouldn't have co-anglers? Because, so for instance, you're saying that you're fishing the BFL. So the BFLs, they have the BFLs, then they have what's after that, the regionals, then they have the All-American, Toyota Series, right? So from your opinion on that, do you think that co-anglers should be involved at each level?
No, I don't think they should exist at all. I think it should just be marshals. And if somebody wants to go into the co-angler realm to learn to become a better fisherman, they're going to do in the long term, as far as the benefit they get out of the day on the water with the pro. If they went as a marshal and say, look, man, I don't want to bother you. I just want to learn. Can you teach me something today? I'll bend over backwards to help them. But if I get a co-angler out there that's casting in front of the boat all day and being real aggressive, I'm not going to help him out at all. But from a competitive standpoint, we need observers. We don't need co-anglers, because, like I said, it's just like the days back in the draw, the pro-on-pro draw, that affected outcome of tournaments just like co-anglers did.
Gotcha.
I had this one tournament we were fishing. It's been quite a few years ago, and I was like second place going into the last day. And it was right at the end of the day, and I found this. It was a long underwater point, and I rolled up over it, and I saw, a nice drop off on this particular point. That's a real tiny drop off. And I threw a marker buoy out on the end of this point, whipped around there. The first cast I throw out there, I catch a 7-pounder, and I know if I just catch one more fish, I'm probably going to win the tournament. And as I'm walking back there, putting that fish in the live well, my co-angler throws in front of the boat as far as he can, right to the marker buoy I put in there, and he catches a 7-pounder, which was going to be my next cast, my next fish, and cost me winning the tournament. That type of stuff has happened repeatedly.
So is that allowed though to cast up like that?
Yeah, there's no rules. Tournaments don't have any rules to where a co-angler can cast. They can cast anywhere they want.
So okay, so it's just more of a courtesy.
Yeah, I mean, tournament organizations, I don't understand why they can't put in the rule. You cannot cast past the middle of the boat. Like, pretend there's a line down the middle of the boat. You're not allowed to cast past that line. That way it's fair for everybody. Every co-angler is under the same rule. But now the way they have it, it's a free-for-all. And one of the things about co-anglers I found is they have a tendency to want to cast where the pros cast. I've been so many times out in open water grass fields where there's grass literally 360 around the boat, and there's fish 360 around the boat. And if I cast over at a 1 o'clock position, they're going to cast at a 1 o'clock position, even though they got grass everywhere.
I can tell that your passion about that topic shows that you have been affected in a certain type of way.
Dude,
so
I fished with probably 2,000 co-anglers. I've been around every type of person you can imagine with them.
Gotcha. So now just think of it like this. So that same passion that you have from that boater side, there's co-anglers with that same passion or aggression or thought process or whatever coming from the co-angler side. And when they're coming together, that's what I was referring to. So that is what is kind of starting to butt heads. And so that's what led to the question of, do you think that how boaters are, I mean, co-anglers are now starting to say in some tournaments, they're like, well, hey, I'm out of here. I'm not even going to show up for this. And obviously boaters are probably doing the same thing. So that's why I was wondering, at some point, do you think that it could affect it to where they start so look, I see some people in the back. Bring me up. Let's do the question answer.
Well, yeah, that's especially true with live scope, because I hear co-anglers griping all the time about getting drawn with a live scoper and how they just, it's the worst experience of their life. So
right, exactly. All right, so look, I'm going to drop a quick poll. Do co-anglers affect the outcome of a tournament for a boater? So your answer to that is obviously yes.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
All right, so now I'm going to start this poll.
Here are some results from our phone-in poll.
The question for that poll: do co-anglers affect the outcome of a tournament for a boater? We have 59% that says yes, and we have 41% that said no, they do not. That co-angler does not affect it one way or the other. All right, so here we go, guys. All right,
those are 41% of the guys that don't fish tournaments as a boater that said that, in my opinion.
Oh my goodness. All right, guys. All right, so all right, there we go, guys. There we go. So the first time I saw him, I thought that he just clear that out real quick. All right, so there we go, guys. That is what we are talking about this evening. That is the video clip for everybody that is just tuning in. If you want to see the full video clip and you are catching this on the replay, if you want to see the full video clip and you are catching this on the replay, the link to the full video is in the description. All right, so let's go ahead and get into it, guys. I hope you guys had your pen and pad and were taking some notes, because I want to come back and, kind of get into it a little bit. So what I will do is go ahead and drop the call-in link. So the call-in link will be in the chat. And actually, while I'm doing that, let's just check this poll real quick. Again, the polls are to gauge the room to see who we have watching this evening. Hopefully, it's kind of leveled out a little bit, because at first it was kind of boater heavy in the chat section. But now let's see. So do you fish more as a boater or a co-angler? We have 37% of you guys that are currently in the chat are saying that you are 37% are saying co-anglers, and we have 64% that are saying boaters. So it's kind of changing just a little bit, but where are the co-anglers at? What is going on? Where are you at? I thought there was going to be a lot more co-anglers in here. All right. So what I would do while you guys are getting your questions and your things like that together, and wait a minute, got to give a big shout out to, who is this checking into the live stream? Big shout out to Dave Rosenberg. He says, what's going on, guys? What's going on? Big shout out to Dave Rosenberg. I think he was cashing some checks this past weekend. Oh, yeah. How much did you walk away with, Dave? Can I borrow like $5? Can I get $5 from you? What's going on? Really appreciate you stopping in and checking into the live stream, and glad to have you back out on the water again. All right. So what was I saying? Where was I at? All right. So what we're going to do is, while you guys are getting your questions and all that kind of stuff together from the interesting video we just watched, I am going to drop the call-in link. All right. There we go. Look at him. He is out there cashing checks. $8,000. Oh, man. Must have been nice. Can I borrow $5? All right. So here is the call-in link, guys. I'm putting the call-in link in the chat, and basically just make sure that you're cammed up. So we have to make sure, we can see you. We can put some eyes on you, see who we're talking to, and your lighting is good. I will bring you up, and we'll get your thoughts, opinions, suggestions on this whole co-angler thing. And, as we get into it a little bit more, I do want to kind of talk about the side of things as far as what can help co-anglers out on the water, because I know there's another big discussion going on with forward-facing sonar on the different lakes and what kind of techniques are good and bad. You know, how can you help co-anglers out? And I had Ben Milliken on the show a few months ago, and as we know, he is one of the top guys out there using forward-facing sonar and getting some good results with that. So the question that we asked him at that time was, what type of techniques would he suggest that co-anglers used, and what did he see from being out there, you know, in the battle zone? And what kind of results were the co-anglers that he was fishing with? What techniques did they use to get good results? And he had some interesting feedback on that. All right, so here we go, guys. Let me drop this call in link. And basically all you do is, like I said, just click the link. If you want to call in, I'll bring you up here, hit the timer, bring you up for maybe like a minute or two. Let's see what you have to say. Then I'll drop you down and bring the next person up. But before we get into that, all right, guys, let's try a little bit of trivia. Let's try a little bit of trivia before I start bringing you guys up. But you guys can go ahead and click the link. So I have a question. Let's see who we have listening in this evening. Let's see what you guys think about this. So the trivia question is, who knows about Bobby Joe and Betty Lou? Who knows about Bobby Joe and Betty Lou? Let's check in the chat. I'm gonna see. And while we're doing that, let me check my likes. Can you guys get my likes up? What is going on? My likes are looking kind of ugly. Can you set the hook on the like button for me? I mean, it's looking like you guys are coming in with a 5-pound bag limit on my likes. Can I get a few more likes, guys? All right, so the trivia question is, who knows about Bobby Joe and Betty Lou? Let's see. I'm looking in the chat. Looks like it may have stumped you guys. Somebody has to know. Somebody has to know about. All right. Sam says Betty Lou got a new pair of shoes. I don't know. Did she? But that's not quite the answer that I'm looking for. Come on, guys. Somebody has to know the answer to this. Like I said, this is just a little bit of trivia while I give you guys some time to get your thoughts and questions and stuff like that. And I will drop the link, the call-in link, in the chat. So if anybody wants to come up, let's talk about it a little bit. The link is in the chat. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Oh, wait a minute. We do have some people in here that know a little something. Now, okay, all right, here we go. Now, this is the answer that I like right here. Oh, yeah. Big shout out to Barry, the Sabine King Celestine. All right, and big shout out to the Money Team. He said they are twin sisters. How does Barry know about Bobby Joe and Betty Lou? How does he know it? And let's see. Okay, Mike Deal, he's kind of on the path a little bit too. All right, here we go once again. He says, ain't as good as I once was. But what could he be talking about? What does that mean? Does anybody know what that means? I think Stevie K does. Stevie K came in with it. He said a Toby Keith song. There we go, guys. Just wanted to give a big shout out to Toby Keith and offer our condolences to his family members, fans, just wanted to give that shout out to him, guys. Just kind of an intermission and just kind of a little trivia thing to add in here. But yeah, big shout out to him, guys. Big loss. Good guy in the country music scene, guys. Really, really appreciate it. All right, so let's hop back into it a little bit. So what did you guys think about that? We had 3 people in here that knew a little something. Barry, this Sabine King coming in with the twin sisters. Oh yeah, twin sisters. There we go. All right, so I dropped the call-in link, guys. I mean, you guys were going crazy. And actually, let me do this. Let me this. Let me tell you guys, I just dropped this video. I believe it was 2 days ago. And let's just take a look and see how many of you guys watched it. We're sitting at over 10,000 views on this video, and I just put it out. So I know there was a lot of feelings that was going on with this topic. All right, so what I'll do, let me set the timer. Okay, I see some people coming up. I see somebody back here. Let's set this timer, guys. And what we're going to do is I'll bring you up. Set this timer on 1 minute. Just bear with me. All right, guys. So this is I was thinking there was going to be a lot of co-angler interaction in this. Where are the co-anglers at? And actually, before I bring the first person up, let's check this poll, and then I'll change out the poll question. Okay, so currently, do you fish more as a boater or a co-angler? So we have 65% of the guys that are watching are saying you are boaters, and we have 35% are saying that you are co-anglers. So co-anglers 35, boaters 65. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and end that poll. So we're kind of unbalanced in here, guys. So we have a little more boaters, but it looks like the boaters are kind of being quiet in the chat. Why is that? All right, so let's end this poll. And then what I will do is drop this next poll. So just bear with me, guys. And if you have any poll suggestions, just drop your suggestions down in the chat. You never know. It may make the list. It may make the short list. Where did I put my? Okay, here we go. All right, so now let's switch to the next question. One of the first things that was mentioned is that co-anglers should not compete in, should not be involved, or should not be. Okay, let me just start off. Co-anglers should not be in competitive tournaments. That is going to be the next question. It's just going to be a simple yes or no. So we're going to keep these kind of simple, guys. So this question is, should co-anglers participate in competitive tournaments? All right. And again, this is just to kind of gauge the room. Of course, I mean, we have a nice little crowd in here this evening. If anybody has not already, drop the introduction in the chat. Make sure you get in there and network with the guys. The live streams always build off of the participation in the chat. And, we have a few people that looks like they're calling in. We have some people that have a few things to say about what they have heard this evening. All right. So here we go. So we're dropping a quick and easy yes and a no. And we're going to see what you guys think about that. All right. So the poll is live and active in the chat. And the poll question that is currently up is, should co-anglers participate in competitive tournaments? Should co-anglers compete in competitive tournaments? And it's going to be kind of interesting because remember, we're boater heavy. We're co-angler light in this live stream. All right. So let me pull up this handy dandy timer. Let me set this on. Let's see. We'll try 1 minute first. We'll run through a few things real quick. So we'll do 1 minute. Let's see who is our first contestant. I should have known. I should have known who was going to be coming up. What is going on, CT?
Hey man, can you hear me better this evening?
Uh-oh, you have kind of an audio issue. It's kind of having some crackling sound to it. You have some feedback. It may be, do you have YouTube or anything up on any other device, computer, phone, or anything like that?
No, I do not. I do not know what's going on with it.
Okay, let's see. It sounds like it may have cleared up just a little bit. But yeah, so let's see. Let me go ahead and hit the timer, and I'll go ahead and let it go. I think you should be okay to go ahead and drop your comment, your suggestion, question, and then I'll drop you back down, and then you can just check on your audio. But go ahead. Timer has started. What do you have for us?
First, I noted everything I disagreed with. That was everything. Second, I keep hearing the comparisons in the sport, like, well, NASCAR don't have a co-pilot, yada, yada, yada. It ain't the same. Fishing's not the same as all the other professional sports, okay? It's anybody that gets to fish for a living is blessed to do so. So it's about the grassroots of growing the sport, and we're supposed to be better ambassadors of the sport than folks like Mr. Blaukat.
Okay, and real quick, let me stop the timer. Let me pause it real quick. So just for anybody in the chat, I see you guys are in there getting super active. So remember, we're focusing on attacking the argument and not the person. All right, the argument. So let's see if we can focus on the argument, the actual statements that were made. All right, big shout out to that. All right, here we go. Let's hit resume. All right, so what was the rest of what you have?
Well, it is about being good ambassadors for the sport. Every boater I've ever had the pleasure of speaking with and fishing behind, I say 99% of them have always been absolutely tremendous. And that's the way it should be. You're trying to pass on that knowledge. You're trying to help that person out. No, you don't let them cast up in front of you and stuff like that, but it's all about respect going back and forth both ways.
Gotcha. All right. So there we were with 1 minute. So to recap what you said is basically it's basically about being an ambassador of the sport. to kind of get out there and work together on these things, because everybody is trying to just push and do what's best for the sport itself. So did I get that right? Is that kind of what the sentiment of what you're saying is?
Yeah, if you need me later, holler. I'll have the other mic up and running.
It sounds like you may have cleared it out. So it sounds like you, so it sounds like you may be good. So yeah, I'll go ahead and drop you down. I'll bring a few more people up, and then you know how the show goes. It's live, so we never know what's going to end up happening on here. But guys, I'm dropping the call-in link again for anybody that wants to come up. But yeah, and also while CT is up, big shout out to CT. He is the current sponsor of the live stream, guys. As you will see, CT has gifted 5 MoneyBass memberships. So there's some guys that should notice that they have a badge next to their name now. So that membership has been gifted by CT. So if you could drop CT, a quick CT in the chat. We got to give credit where credit is due. All right, CT. So I really, really appreciate that. So yeah, you are welcome back anytime, sir. All right, here we go, guys. Here we go. Let's see. That was CT, Cerebral Tackle. So there you go. There we go. Right there. Has gifted 5 memberships to the channel. So if you did receive one of those memberships, or even if you didn't, just go ahead and shout CT out. Big, strong supporter of the channel. Really, really appreciate it. All right, so now it looks like we have another contestant. Who is this? What is going on? We have
how's it going, everybody?
All right, we have Saber Outdoors coming up. So what is going on? I think you were here, was it last week, right? Yeah, last week.
Yes,
last
sir.
Week. Yeah, you were like, hey man, where's my cameo at? My people wanted to see me.
Yeah, I was like, where am I? I wanted to show them, like, look, MoneyBass. I did things on his what do we call it? This live talk show.
Yeah. We're live streaming over here. We're making it happen. So a podcast is generally not live. They're like, a lot of times those are pre-recorded and then they play it. But here, as you see, if you are here doing the live and not catching it during the replay, I dropped the call-in link. And actually, while I'm saying that, let me go ahead and drop it again real quick. So the call-in link is in the chat. I'm
thankful that this is hidden from people, because I didn't realize, and anyone that was here last week knows, most of the time that you were speaking, I could not hear you because I didn't realize I needed to mute YouTube so that I could hear you on the link. So now I can actually hear you when you have a conversation. It doesn't sound like you're speaking here and then you're also speaking over there. Some other
there we go
comes out.
Yeah, so the call-in link is in the chat, guys. Just make sure that you're cammed up. Your lighting is good, and that there are no other devices playing YouTube, and then I'll bring you up. We won't get any feedback or anything like that. All right, so Saber Outdoors, I'm gonna hit this timer on you. What do you have? What do you have for this live stream?
Okay, so as far as the opinion on this, CoAngler is something that should be a thing. I do not believe that you should eliminate CoAngler as a thing. That being said, you should have some kind of system where if the pro says this guy was a problem, this guy was a hindrance, this guy was, if they have some kind of complaint, and I think the thing should go the other way as well. There should be an ability for them to say, you have consistently been a problem for 1, 2, 3, 4, however many people, and it's not the same person every time. Of course, you don't get to choose your person whenever you're being a co-angler. Right. You just put it in a bag and get there. But also, this exemplifies the difference between having a person who is fun fishing and a person who is fishing for money. When you're fishing for money, it's a competition, and it's not a competition where it's boat for boat. It's angler versus angler.
Right.
And every time that co-angler throws in front of that pro and catches the 7-pounder like he spoke about in the video, that's taking not only money out of his pocket, but that's food out of not only his mouth, but also his family's mouth. You have to take whenever you do something for a competition. If you're in the boat, man, be respectful. If the guy's fishing somewhere, let him fish there. God knows there's got to be somewhere else to fish. There, you have 360 degrees worth of water, I'm sure. Fish somewhere else, another laydown, another piece of bank. There's usually not just one single tree or one single rock to fish.
Yeah. So do you mainly fish as a boater or a co-angler?
So I am not in this particular thing. I am a YouTuber, which is why I was on the podcast last week.
Oh, okay.
And so I can have an objective view of this. I have thought about being a co-angler, and that would be the only way that I could fish tournaments, because my boat is just a 2-man plastic boat. There's no way I could fish tournament in that boat. I would have to be a co-angler. But I would also make a point to be respectful, not to be in the way. And, I know that MLF has a 2-minute penalty if you drop the fish on the boat. How much penalty do you think it is if you're constantly hung up, if you're constantly in the way? How much penalty do you think you're going to lose off of that? Because those MLF guys, they're fishing on their own. They don't have a co-angler. So they are experiencing what he would like to have.
Right. Yeah. And I mean, that's one of the things that we did mention. And I'm dropping the call-in link again, guys, for anybody that does want to come up. That's one of the things that we did mention. As you saw in one of the questions that I asked him was, at what level do you think there's any levels where there should be co-anglers or shouldn't be co-anglers? And his answer was kind of interesting. Do you know what his answer was?
I did see the answer, but I have about a 10-second memory.
All right. His answer was at no level should there be co-anglers. So the thing is, there does need to be a place for co-anglers. To me, I feel like there should be tournaments for co-anglers, tournaments without co-anglers. There should be kayak tournaments. There should be bass boat tournaments. There should be, there should be something for everybody out there that wants to do that thing. So if you
personally would like to try my luck at John Boat tournament.
Gotcha. So there we go. John boat tournaments, all of that, electric boat tournaments, all of those different things. They're all different categories. So you wouldn't go into a kayak tournament and say, hey, I don't think there should be electric motors or whatever. This is one of the main things that goes along with kayaks. Or you wouldn't go into a John boat and say, hey, I don't think we should use metal boats. You know what I mean? So if you join that specific type of tournament and they already have rules and everything that are set up that way, then to me, it's there for a reason. Just choose a different style of tournament that doesn't have whatever it is that you don't, want to participate in. So to me, that sounds like the short answer. And I guess that would be for whether we're talking about boaters or co-anglers, people who are there in kayaks or people that are in, bass boats, whatever it is. Don't join that particular type of tournament whenever you see what is there. You follow what I'm saying? So to me, that's kind of the short answer for that. All right. So did you have anything you want to say in parting? And then I'll go ahead and drop you down and see who else wants to come in.
Thank you for the opportunity to be on the live. Thank you all for hearing me and my various odd opinions. And all I can say is you have a great rest of your day, MoneyBass.
All right. You too. All right. Make sure you guys check him out. You're on Saber Outdoors on YouTube, right?
Yes, sir.
All right. There we go, guys. Saber Outdoors. All right. You are welcome back anytime, sir.
We'll see you somewhere in the woods or on the water, my guy.
All right. Sounds good. All right. There we go, guys. All right. So we heard a little bit from, we had CT, Cerebral Tackle, the current sponsor of the live stream. Big shout out to CT. Each week, whoever gives the largest super chat, super sticker for the channel during the live stream is the sponsor of the live stream, because this channel is supported by you guys, the viewers, subscribers, and people that just kind of stop through every once in a while to see what's going on over here. All right. So before they came up, I did change the poll question. Let's see if you guys did get active in the poll. All right. So the poll that we currently have is, should co-anglers participate in competitive tournaments? And to me, this is kind of a trick question. The answer to that is, according to the chat, 65% of you guys, well, actually, it just changed. Somebody came in and said, hey, let me vote real quick. So we have 64% of you guys are saying, yes, co-anglers should be able to participate in competitive tournaments. And then we have 36% that are saying no. What's going on with that? Why can't the co-anglers come out here and have a little fun too? So what I would say for that is, if there are tournaments that have boaters and co-anglers, and there are tournaments that do not have boaters, I guess you can't have a tournament without a boater. You're on the bank. All right. But if there are tournaments that have co-anglers and there are tournaments that do not have co-anglers, I don't think you should choose a tournament that has co-anglers and then say that co-anglers should not be there, because that is the tournament that was chosen. And there are also team tournaments. Someone told me in California, they actually do it where they kind of blend in the co-anglers and the boaters in some type of way. So there's different ways of doing things out there, and there's a lot of different tournaments that are available. So that's kind of what I think about that. But what do you guys think? That's what I want to know. What do you guys think? All right, and continue to get active in the poll. And what I will do while I'm waiting for, one or two more people to, let's see. Here we go. All right, I just had to check some of the comments. All right, so what we'll do, guys, I'll hop into the chat a little bit. I dropped the call-in link. Let me go ahead and put the call-in link in the chat again if anybody else does want to come up. All right, where are we at? All right, so here we go. So the call-in link that is back in the chat, just make sure you're cammed up, your lighting is good. I will bring you up and let's see what you have to say. But for now, let's go ahead and hop into the chat. It does get kind of interesting in here. So I haven't been in the chat for a minute, guys. All right, so I do want to give a big shout out to the members of the Money Team. Those are the people that are members of the channel. So whenever you hear me refer to the Money Team, those are the members of the channel, and you can recognize them because they have a badge right next to their name. Kind of makes them stand out a little bit. So what I generally do when I want to get caught up in the chat is just kind of bring up the members of the Money Team real quick and just get started with that. All right, so I do want to give a big shout out to, we have Backdraft Lure Company. They came in and became a member of the Money Team. So we do have a new member. Really, really appreciate you coming through. All right, then big shout out to Darren Pearson. Got to give a shout out to my partner, Darren Pearson. All right, let's see who else we have. Then we have Big Ivy. Big Ivy, he's in the chat causing some problems sometimes. But yeah, that is another member of the Money Team. Really, really appreciate it. All right, so let's hop down through here and just see, again, while I'm waiting for it to see if anybody else wants to call in. Let's just see what you guys are talking about in the chat. All right, so here we go. All right, so let's see what Ernest Coleman had to say. Okay, I guess we don't need to see what Ernest Coleman needs to say. Some of these I need to take a look real quick. All right, so it looks like we have another contestant that I'll bring up in just a second. Your camera isn't up yet, so as soon as you get your camera up, then I can pull you up. All right, let's see who else we have checking in here. Let's see. All right, so here, this is interesting. This is an interesting one. Ernest says, let's see, boaters, please stop saying non-boaters are catching your fish. I guess he's saying he didn't know that they had any fish. If they didn't catch them, then I guess they're not theirs. Is that what you're saying, Ernest? They have to catch them in order for it to be their fish. All right, so let's see. I'm just trying to keep up with the chat. And again, the call-in link, I'll drop that in the chat one more time. See, we do have somebody that will be coming up in just a second, just waiting for him to cam up, and then I can bring you up. Let's see what else we have, guys. All right, so I'm going through the chat, trying to get caught up in the chat. All right, so Big Ivy says, let's see, did you hear about the college kid who died fishing last, fishing the Bassmasters? I did, and want to give our condolences to the family members. But yeah, we definitely have to remain safe because fishing can be very dangerous, guys. I always want to keep that in mind. And yeah, I always have to respect it and keep it in mind, guys. All right, let's see. CT said we're looking for a 50-50 bloodbath. No, man, can't we all just get along? Just have a little fun in here. All right, and here we go, guys. The current sponsor of the live stream, Cerebral Tackle. He has gifted the chat with 5 free memberships. If you did get one of those memberships, make sure you give a big shout out to CT and continue to get active in the chat, guys. You never know who is in the same neck of the woods as you, that may be fishing the same lakes, the same tournaments, and you may just find your next fishing buddy in the chat. All right, let's see what else we all right, so yeah, I kind of have to weed through these comments, guys. Anybody that is watching this on the replay, I don't know if you can see the live chat, but this is one of the best chats on YouTube, guys. Have to give a big shout out to the chat. I mean, things get a little crazy in here sometimes, but it's always in good fun. Want to give a big shout out to the Facebook crew. We have Ronald Pratt checking back in. Really, really appreciate you for tuning back into the live stream. All right, let's see what else we have, guys. You guys in the chat, come on, man. Come on. This stuff that y'all are saying in here. All right, let's see. All right. Hold on 1 second. 1 second, guys. All right, I'm just going through here, trying to weed through some of these comments to see what I can pull up. You guys in here are, you have a few things to say. All right, let's see what Ronald Pratt has to say. He says, I think if you have 2 anglers on the boat, it should be a team effort type tournament. And if you don't want a co-angler, you should only do tournaments where there are no co-anglers. Sounds pretty simple, doesn't it? Sounds too simple. But yeah, I mean, so that is a thing. Some people may be better suited to fish team tournaments instead of random draw tournaments. And some people may just be better suited to fish boater only tournaments. Can you do co-angler only tournaments? Is that a thing? Can you do that? Co-anglers only. All right, let's see what else we have in here. Let's see, guys. I'm going through here, and again, the call-in link is in the chat. Just make sure whenever you come up, you're cammed up, and then I can bring you up. We can see what you have to say about a few things. All right, let's see where we're at. You guys are definitely getting active in the chat. Goodness gracious. Is it really that hard for me to find some decent comments in here that I can bring up? I mean, what about the kids? We got to think about the kids, guys. What is going on in the chat? I wasn't paying attention to the chat earlier, but you guys, and remember, what we're trying to do is focus on the comments that were made, where if you have an argument, the argument is against the comments, not the person. So that's what I'm pretty much touching on. So let's just go ahead and double check the chat real quick. But before we do that, I need to take another look at my likes, because I know some of you guys aren't really hitting that like button the way you should be. It really does help the channel out, guys. So if you could just go ahead and tap that like button real quick for me. All right, so they're looking okay, but can we get maybe about 6? Can I get 6 more likes, guys? All right, so the poll that we currently have up: should co-anglers participate in competitive tournaments? We have 65 say yes, and we have 35 that say no. All right, guys. I noticed not too many people are hitting the call-in link. Now, you guys were going crazy in the comments of that video that I played. For anybody that doesn't know what I'm talking about, the link to that video is in the description. When you watch the video, make sure you click on the comments and take a look at the comments. Now, you guys should be clicking this link a little bit more and coming up here and voicing your thoughts on it. All right, and what I would really like to hear from is somebody who says that co-anglers should not be. So should co-anglers participate in competitive tournaments? We have 37% are saying no, they should not. So I would want to hear, I'm kind of interested in hearing why someone would say that co-anglers should not participate. All right, but what I'm going to do, let's move on to the next poll question. So just bear with me. I'm going to drop that one. So I ended that poll, and let's see. And again, if you guys have any good questions that you want to drop in the poll that you want me to put up here for a poll question, let me know and I will put it in here. All right, so let's see. All right, I'm still looking through some comments, guys. I'm trying to find some comments that I can pull up and talk about, but you guys are, getting a little rowdy in the chat. All right, so the next question. Let's see. Okay, another interesting comment that was made. Let me just drop this real quick. So another interesting comment that he made in the clip is that he had pulled up to a spot. He cast to where he had came to fish. It was kind of a ledge or something like that. He cast over to that spot and he caught a 7-pounder. He goes back to take the fish, take the fish off the hook and put it in the live well. And when he does that, then that co-angler cast right where he had casted at and caught another 7-pounder. So that is what he said. So let's kind of make this next poll question based on that. So should co-anglers cast to the same spot where a boater just caught a fish? Say that boater is going to cast back over there again, but should a co-angler cast to that spot? So that is the next poll question. And again, that we're sitting at, I think it was about 65% of the people that are participating are boaters, and we have 35% that were co-anglers. So yeah, make sure you guys get active on the polls, because that, it'll kind of help us gauge the room. All right, so should co-anglers cast to the same spot that a boater just caught a fish from? Man, what do you guys think the poll was going to be the winning poll question on this one? All right, so we're going to keep it simple again. We're just going to go with a quick and simple yes and a quick and simple no. All right, so that poll is active. We are live and in action, guys. So should co-anglers be able to just cast where boaters are catching their fish from? What do you guys think about that? Seems like that's always a point of contention that goes on. So kind of interested in that one. All right, so let's see. And remember, guys, in the chat, I'm trying to find where you guys are attacking the argument and not the person. So I'm trying to find some good comments that I can pull up. Then maybe we can discuss them. All right, so let's see. I think I have one right here. Let's see what this is. Let's see. All right, so here we go. So Kevin Smith. Oh, this is Mr. Two Fishes. What is going on? Glad to have you back in the chat. All right. He said, I don't need 5 fish. All I need is 2. He's catching some hogs out there. It's a 5-fish tournament, but he'll bring in 2 and bust you in the back of the head with the weight that he brings in. All right. So Mr. Two Fishes says, I fished as a co-angler and let me see, and have been a boater the last 4 years. I definitely like the boater side more than the co-angler side. Okay, all right. So yeah, so he likes the boater side, and I guess that may be because of the recent. I don't even know if it's recent because it was before forward-facing sonar was the issue and all of this other stuff. It seems like there's always been kind of a thing about the boater versus co-angler side of things. But you know, sometimes I like to talk about it, see if maybe we can work some things out. Maybe there's some things out there that can you know, help people out on the co-angler side of things. All right, let's see. Big Ivy Fishing, shout out to the money team, guys. He says, you don't own the water, you don't own the spot. Okay, yeah, so it's not your spot. Big Ivy on the last live stream, he came up here, he said, hey, listen, if I'm your co-angler, I'm casting up toward the front. You know, don't try to stop me. Big Ivy, he came up here, you know, he stated his opinion last time. He was like, hey, I'm casting up to the front. All right, then shout out to Garcia. All right, he says co-anglers should be allowed with etiquette spelled out. Let me see. Okay, spelled out before the tournament. Some people might not know. Okay, yeah, so he's saying just communicate. Just communication is the key. And a lot of times that is what we're hearing. All right, guys, just make sure, let me just drop the link in here again. If you want to come up, just make sure you're cammed up because it is a live show. And it kind of helps with the visuals of the show. All right, so let's see. I'm dropping that live link. The call-in link is once again in the chat, guys. All right, so we've been rolling for about 57 minutes, about an hour or so. So, you know, we're looking pretty good on time. So if anybody does want to come up, just make sure you click that link. I don't know where everybody's hiding because you guys were not hiding in the chat on the video that we played earlier. All right, let's see what else we have, guys. All right, so let's see. Oh, my goodness. Wait a minute. What is happening here? This has to be a boater. Shout out to LJ. He says, keep your butt in the back of the boat. Should be easy to understand. They're coming to get you. They're coming to get you, James Harmon. All right, so there was another comment I just saw. Let's see. Where did it go? All right, here we go. All right, so Matthew says, most co-anglers can put fish in their in the boat. I'm curious, what makes a boater a pro? Just someone who owns a boat doesn't make them a professional angler. All right, so interesting question. And we did talk about this on the I guess 2 weeks ago. That was part of the discussion. What do people determine or decide is a pro? On the tournament side of things, what the majority of people, the conclusion that people agreed on is that you have to qualify to be a pro. So the pros are the people that actually qualify, such as the elites. So that is what they say is a professional angler. The other one was a guide, someone who does it full time as a living. So on the pro side, you may not be making enough money to do it as a living, but if you qualified as a pro to fish in the pro circuit, then you are considered a pro. And so just because you have a boat and you're fishing a tournament, people are not going to consider that a pro. So that was the consensus. So that was the answer to the question from last time. All right, so let's see what else we have in here. Somebody said, well put, Saber. Let's see. All right, so here we go. So Backdraft Lure Company says, not the greatest poll question, kind of subjective, but I say no. But I feel like that's a boater's discretion. If I'm retying or culling, then go for it. Oh my goodness. All right. He said, hey, if he sits down to retie, you can go ahead and take a quick cast at that 7-pounder, see if you can get him. All right. So Backdraft Lure Company, big shout out to you. So that was the end of part 1. You definitely want to stay tuned for part 2, where some co-anglers come in with some interesting information and perspectives. The link is in the description. All right, guys.